Hey there, everyone. This is Wolfpack 5000. Uh, as I promised, the variety stream is continuing. We just got done with um, the historical segment of the stream tonight, and now we are headed in a totally different direction. I'm looking at this new Warframe that they have, and I'm not sure if I want to get her yet, but maybe I will. I will at some point. But for right now, I wanna just ease back into it. Mind you, I have a few level 30s now that are in my squad, and I think what I'm gonna do for them is a bit of a um, tutorial or explain the different abilities behind them. For those of you that are not aware of what they're capable of. That looks sick though. The newest one. I can't tell if that's ink or shadows. Whatever it is, I'm curious. Also, yes, I do make occasional fashion frames. I don't have a whole bunch of them right now, but I think I was supposed to get a new one, I feel bad for stopping. Work on them. I shouldn't have stopped, but hopefully I can. Oh, it's Friday. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna do that. We'll grind through the circuits to complete this one, the current one that I chose. And yeah.
You seek rewards, Hunter?
Yes, I do. I'll take the resource drop. Thank you kindly.
Unread inbox messages make me ill.
Well, I'm sorry, Dag. Sorry, Ordis. Okay, so the Void Trader is back. And double the credits. What I like is this. Also, something new has changed. Previously, I wasn't able to do this. But oops, wrong button. Here, I'll show you. I now have a the Honoria, the titles. That wasn't a thing before. But now it is. So it looks like I made enough progress to unlock those. I see Stalker has yet to make a successful
Ordis is sorry.
strike against me. I think he's scared because
Argon.
I've been messing up the enemies. Huh? Oh, for the love of God, here we go again. Okay, guys, apparently it's been super stormy in my area, and I know it's got to do with spring and everything, but I'm gonna ignore that. I think what I'm gonna do to kick this off, start off with some of the ones that I recently got. This one. This is one of those ones that I had meant to stream back in March, but at the time I was working with my setup and everything, and I didn't have it operational. But now I do. So this is delayed, really delayed. But say hello to Baruch. This Warframe is totally unexpected for me because he's a pacifist, really. The issue I have with him is that restraint meter. When you have to consistently drop it, it's tedious to use it. But I'm pretty sure once you lower it enough. Anyway, once you lower Baruch's meter enough, he basically snaps. And it's not pretty. Oh, for fuck's sake. I like the thing grow. I'm sorry, that thing on his neck grew. Don't mind that pimple. Oh, it's got a tendril sticking out of it. Ew. Anyways, forgetting that space acting aside, here's Baruch's abilities. Elude. For his abilities, for elude, dodge all incoming projectiles, but only while not attacking. Use again to deactivate this ability. Lull. A calming wave slows enemies until they fall into a slumber. Enemies woken by damage will be confused and disoriented. Short-term amnesia means all waking enemies forget anything that happened before the lull. It's basically once it puts you to sleep. You're like you can be so like groggy, you don't know what's going on. And he can literally destroy whatever defenses you got. Desolate Hand. Summon a bevy of orbiting daggers to seek out enemy guns, destroying them with a small explosion. Combine with Elude to double the range. Oh, that's clever. So if I pop the Desolate Hands and Elude, ooh, that's gonna come in handy. And finally, Serene Storm. A word of caution with this one. Because he has that restraint meter, this is why this one's so scary. With his restraint eroded, Baruch commands the Desert Wind to deliver powerful radial strikes with his fists and feet. Each moment commanding a storm restores his restraint. Remember, I mentioned earlier, Baruch has a certain point where he snaps. Once his restraint meter is low enough, and he finally literally snaps, he will bring every last enemy to the knees. And then walk on by like he didn't do anything. He's that one Warframe where you'll be looking like, what happened? And Baruch walked off like I had nothing to do with it. Basically, the enemies I'll be picking the teeth up off the floor, and Baruch is just sitting there meditating like he didn't do anything. Next on my list for 30s, I have Ember. Harness the power of fire. Ember's heat deals high damage. She keeps the cool head when battle is hot. I find it very ironic considering she's one of my pyros. Ember's abilities. Fireball. Release a fiery projectile that ignites enemies on contact. Immolation. Protect Ember with flame armor that burns stronger over time, consuming energy once its meter is at full strength. Cast again to extinguish the flame. Fire Blast. Slam the ground to create a wave of incinerating plasma that knocks back enemies and strips their armor. And finally, Inferno. Command a flaming comet to crash down in front of Ember, engulfing enemies with a fire that can spread through their ranks. For those of you wondering why Ember is dressed the way she is, I got the Ember heirloom skin. She was one of those ones that I had always wanted to, I guess, she was the first one that I wanted to customize, appearance-wise. And I'm glad I did, because look at the color design she got. By the way, that is all her the heirloom colors.
Ready for action.
Yeah, I am. Next, my personal favorite female. This is Hildred, my shield maiden. She has stupidly high defense. Look at those shields. That's why I wanted to get her. She has her shield to over 3,000. Hildren's abilities. Balefire. Charge and launch devastating bolts of electricity. Pillage. Pillage a percentage of shields and armor of nearby enemies to replenish Hildren's own shield and overshield. Also removes status effects from Hildren and her allies. So this is like Rhino. Kinda. You know how Rhino has overguard in a way? When Hildren does the pillage, she can basically overcharges her shields. It just gets way out of hand what it can be at that point. I'm glad I did this for her. I got the Blazing Pillage. I believe that was one of her mods when I was grinding for her in the circuit. Haven. Create a shield aura around allies. Enemies that approach Hildred will take radiation damage. An Aegis Storm. Take the skies and rain balefire rockets down on the enemy. Nearby enemies are blasted into the air where they will create an energy orb every few seconds. When shields run out, the enemies are smashed into the ground. Oh Jesus! So she basically lifts them off the ground, holds them in the air, and once her shields drop, the bodies go splat on the ground. Ooh. No wonder why they were pieces. Ooh, they be piecing back together for. Ooh. That is not very heroic, Hildred, not at all. Next on my list, Necros. There is a Reaper whose name is Necros. He provides deathly crowd control. Erstwhile, enemies become allies when Necros calls up recruits from the dead. So he's your necromancer type Warframe. And it's fun. It's ironic that I got him. Because around the time that I had gotten him, this was when who I took the inspiration from. This is around the time when the Prince of Darkness himself, Ozzy, had passed. So if you're wondering why his color scheme is black and purple with little streaks of silver, I took the color inspiration from him to create him. And fun fact, he and my Ember is basically inspired by Sharon. So I did a bit of fashion frame kind of tribute to him, really. So I alternate between the two of them. And if I could do it without it being an issue, I would have my Spotify up or music playing in tribute to Ozzy, but I can't. So this is as close as we're gonna get. And with the current guy I'm getting, Revenant, oh boy, it's gonna go downhill quickly, and I do mean really quickly. Necros' abilities. Soul Punch. A blow so powerful, it turns the enemy's very soul into a deadly projectile, damaging all in its path. Enemies that survive the blow are marked for harvest, and become one of Necros' shadows of the dead if killed while marked. Terrify. Cast fear into the hearts of nearby enemies, causing them to run away in terror. Desecrate. Forces fallen enemies around you to drop additional loot. And Shadows of the Dead. Summon shadow versions of vanquished enemies to fight alongside you for a short period. So this is the Necromancer's abilities when they kick in.